We have 3 books on the table out here and about 38, almost 40 books we have out here in the studio as a prop. And what I can tell you is they occupy so much space. I could actually have a few hundred books in a Kindle, and of course that's what we're here to talk about, is the Kindle Paperwhite. Now this is the signature edition, and we are going to break up which Kindle works for you during the course of this review. And if you like the content that we're doing here, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so that you're notified every time we upload a new video. Now let's get started with the most important thing. This is the Kindle Paperwhite. In the box you just get the Kindle and a USB Type-C to USB Type-A cable, which is great because it has moved to USB Type-C charging. The previous Kindles of course used micro USB, and you just have one physical button, which is to power on the display and put it to sleep. Now, when it comes to the Kindle Paperwhite Signature Edition, the best way to describe it is that it is taking the best of two worlds to offer you an experience which is smack bang in the middle of two of the best products that Kindle has. Now, if I can just simplify what I just said, is this is the Kindle Paperwhite. It brings with it some of the features of the Kindle Oasis in the form factor of the Paperwhite, and it's called the Signature Edition. And in its price point, it sits right in between the Paperwhite and of course the Oasis. So let's first break down what this Kindle brings with it. If you have used a Kindle in the past, you are going to feel right at home. If you've used an entry-level Kindle, this is going to feel slightly more premium. If you've used a Paperwhite, this is just more refined wine in the same bottle that you're used to. Once you power on the Kindle, you will of course be greeted with the same layout that you always have. All your books are in order. You can buy books from the Kindle store, but what this has, the features that it brings from the Oasis, is not only the auto backlighting for the brightness of the display, but also the warm tone. Now, of course, the Kindle Paperwhite also has the warm tone, but you need to adjust the warm tone and the backlighting manually. But in the case of the Paperwhite, this is where the Paperwhite Signature Edition, this is where it makes a world of a difference to use this device, is when you get used to using it with the auto brightness and the auto warm tone. So it does change the warmth of the background to suit the lighting around you, to give you a more comfortable experience. And of course it also has the ability to reduce the brightness as you keep reading so that you have less strain on your eye. It has a 6.8-inch display with a pixel density of 300 pixels per inch, and it is quite crisp. Now, it isn't the crispest display out there, especially when you see what smartphones are offering with their 90 Hz and 120 Hz refresh rate on offer. This display might seem a little primitive, but the fact that it has just one objective, to make you read books, is something that it's very good at. When it comes to the ergonomics, again, like the Paperwhite, this has this rubbery textured back, which I kind of really like. You don't need a cover with it because you do get a good grip, and it does have bezels all around the display, which again in this case is really good because you do get a good grip. And if, like me or someone that holds the Kindle from its chin, you do get a very good grip for long hours of reading and use. And of course you don't get any of the notifications from social networking sites distracting you from your reading experience. Unlike the Kindle Oasis, which now has a more premium metal design and it has an auto rotate display. So in the Oasis, because it has specific buttons to turn the pages, you can turn the Oasis around to get the buttons on the other side and the page rotates automatically. That's not something that's available out here, and I don't think that's something you need, because to change hands you can just change the Kindle in your hand. You don't need to turn it around like you would with the Oasis. When it comes to the quality of the display, when it comes to reading, actually, like I said, it has a 6.8-inch display with about 17 LEDs backlighting the display. And you do get a very, very crisp image, and turning the pages, reading the books off this Kindle is a very good experience. Navigating the settings to even change the font or to change the size of the text or to change the margins is a very, very easy experience. And navigating the Kindle with its UI, Amazon has gone with an "if it ain't broke, we're not going to fix it," and this UI is the same it's been for the past few years that I have been using a Kindle, and I'm actually honestly okay with it. When it comes to the battery life, Amazon claims that if you read for about half an hour a day, keep the backlighting at about a 13, it should last you for a few months. What I found was that in 2 weeks of reading for about an hour a day, keeping the backlighting at 15 and keeping it on auto brightness, I lost about 20% of battery in 2 weeks time. So I think that the battery life of a Kindle, if you're a voracious reader, is going to be something that's really, really good. Overall, this is a great device if you are someone that's looking for a premium e-reading device, but you don't want to go all the way up to the Oasis. So one of the questions that we get asked the most is, which is the right Kindle for you? Now, while there are upgrades with each Kindle that you move from the cheapest option to the slightly more expensive one, a lot of the features kind of tend to overlap, making the purchase decision slightly more confusing. So let's break it down. Now, at the entry level of the Kindle, you get the entry-level Kindle family. We have the entry-level Kindle priced at 8,000 rupees. It has a 6-inch display with 167 pixels per inch pixel density, which in my opinion isn't the crispest, especially if you've used the Paperwhite, and it has a mere 4 LEDs backlighting the display. It has no auto backlighting. You have to control the brightness on your own, and it does not have the warm tone. Remember, in the Paperwhite Signature Edition, you do get a warm tone, and you can set it to have a warmer tone during the night. So if you're reading in the absolute darkness, you get a much more comfortable experience on your eyes, and the warm tone goes away as there is more light in the room, or when you are reading in the day, just to give you a more comfortable experience. So all those features are not there on the entry-level Kindle. But if you're someone that just reads a book in a month or just reads occasionally and you don't want to buy physical books, then yes, the Kindle entry-level Kindle can be a great option for you. Next up, we have the older Kindle Paperwhite, which is priced at about 11,000 rupees. It also has a 6-inch display. It comes with 300 ppi pixel density, which is a lot better than the entry-level Kindle, and it's at par with what we have out here. But it has a mere 5 LEDs backlighting the display, which, let's face it, isn't that much better than what we were getting on the entry-level Kindle, but that is definitely an option if you are someone that's testing the waters for a Kindle and you're someone that really reads a lot. You could use that for a couple of years before investing in a more premium Kindle, because let's face it, books on Kindles are cheaper than their physical counterparts, and if you're not someone that's into collecting books, then the Kindle can be a great option for you. Now, there is of course a second Kindle Paperwhite option, which is priced at 14,000 rupees, which has the exact same dimensions and as this one out here, as the Signature Edition. It has a 6.8-inch display. It also has 17 LEDs backlighting the display, and it has a 300 pixels per inch pixel density. It also has IPX8 water resistance, and it has adjustable warm light, but it does not have the auto adjust of the light found on this one. So that is actually the sweetest spot. That's the Kindle we always recommend to anyone that can afford to spend 14,000-15,000 rupees on a Kindle. The Kindle Paperwhite, the 6.8-inch one, is the one that we always recommend going forward. At the other end of the spectrum, at the most expensive end of the spectrum, we have the Kindle Oasis, which is priced at a whopping 22,000 rupees. It has this really nice metal build to it. It also has a 300 ppi pixel density. It has a whopping 25 LEDs backlighting the display. It has the auto rotate page. It has auto backlight adjustment. It has the warm tone. It has all the bells and whistles, and honestly, you aren't going to use most of them. What the Signature Edition brings is that sweet spot between the 6.8-inch Paperwhite and the Oasis. It has a 6.8-inch display, it has 32 GB of storage, 300 ppi pixel density, and believe me, you're not going to fill up the 32 GB storage if you read books even regularly for a few years. It's going to take you quite a bit of time to get this storage full of books. It has 17 LEDs backlighting the display. It is IPX8 water resistant. It has the adjustable warm light and the auto adjustable light as well. The auto adjustable light is something that's not found on the normal Paperwhite, but it's there on the Signature Edition and the Oasis. So put simply, purchasing the right Kindle for you, it honestly depends on what all you need from a Kindle. If you're just someone that reads books once in a while, the entry-level Kindle or the previous generation Paperwhite, which is still available, should get the job done well for you. If you are a voracious reader, the Kindle Paperwhite, the 6.8-inch variant, is still our recommendation of choice for most people, because let's face it, once you adjust the backlighting to what you're comfortable with it, you are going to stick to it and be happy with it. But if you want to be spoiled a little bit, if you want that extra few features, the auto backlighting is something that once you get used to it on a Kindle, you really can't go back to a Kindle device without it. So it really does spoil you. These few added features do make a whole lot of difference. And of course, The upgrade to USB-C means if you have a newer phone, a newer laptop, you don't need to resort to having a micro USB cable in your bag with you just to charge your Kindle. So there you have it, guys. That was our review of the Kindle Paperwhite Signature Edition. It is for those that want that much more above the regular Paperwhite but don't want to spend on the Oasis. It is expensive at about 18,000 rupees, but then again, it is a mere 4,000 rupees more than the Kindle Paperwhite. And if you are a voracious reader that's going to read a lot of books, then it's definitely worth the investment. So there you have it, guys. That was our review of the Kindle Paperwhite Signature Edition. As always, you can let us know what you thought of this video in the comment section below. And for more from the world of technology, you can subscribe to the channel. We will catch you in another video. It's goodbye for now.